I can see you on stage right now. Do you dance at all? No. You should. All right. So we've just been talking about rhythm that you hear. Visual rhythm is rhythm that you see. So we're going to write down the definition, which is on page 200. So it's rhythm. And remember how we talked about how the compositions were the same in all the different kinds of art forms, so that in music, a lot of the same things you talk about and learn about in music are the same as what you do in visual arts. It's just a different kind of medium. And I'm going to add something to this definition. I don't know if it's in the book or not. Through your ears. Okay, so you create visual rhythm by repeating elements in a composition. Everybody got that down? Because I think the second part's not in your book. Okay, so let's look at some of the examples that we've been looking at before. Can you see that? A little dark, I know. Okay, so what's being repeated here? Let me turn off the light for 2 seconds and see if it shows it a little bit better. Nah. Never mind. Get an image that'll show up a little bit better. It's the one thing I've not figured out about this crazy ladybug. Okay, what about here? Can you see that better? Yes. All right, so how's rhythm been created here? What's being repeated? Okay, yes. Okay, so the and guess what the name of this is? This is an interesting one. It's called depth. All right, what gives it depth? This is a little review. Yes.
Because the fish gets smaller, so it like goes deeper.
Right. Okay, they get smaller, and what else do they? How else do they change? They get lighter, which is called atmospheric perspective. So this is not a realistic composition. Thank you. Okay, this is not a realistic composition, but through repetition and change in size and change in value, you get a sense of those fish going back in space. I'm going to show you something that's not an Escher. What about this one? Can you see that? Kind of. All right, what's repeated here? There you go. What's repeated here? The flowers are repeated. What else? The leaves, yes. And so that creates a visual rhythm as well. Let's do one more. What about this one? Yes, these seemingly, it's not real clear what they are. Someone called them feathers. They're feather-like it at the very least. And this almost, I don't know if you can see this, looks like it's kind of like brick. So it's an unusual markings, hard to distinguish. So, why do we have rhythm? What does it do? And there's a couple things it does. Can you still see it? I changed the lighting. I'll make it a little darker. What's the point? How does it aid communication? Mm-hmm. Okay. And there's one thing that it does, there's two things in particular, and these kind of overlap what we've done. One, it creates unity. So when we were dancing salsa, all right, we were able to dance as a single unit because we were using rhythm to help keep us together, right? And likewise, here, by repeating the same flower over and over again, you can make sense of it. It creates unity. There's similar flowers back here, which again you can't see. I wish my projector looked the same way that my, no, it's too light, that my computer looked like. I think I need a digital screen. Okay? The other thing that it does, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow, so these kind of overlap some of the principles we've talked about. It creates movement. How does this create movement? Pardon? How does this create movement? It takes, by repeating these over and over again, it's moving my eye towards this person. Okay? What about this one? Talk to your partners. How's rhythm created here? What's being repeated?
Colors.
Okay, the colors. What else? Shapes. Okay. What else? Those lines in the background. So those are moving your eyes, as are the shapes, because you go from there's circles and there's stars. Compare it to what we saw yesterday. Am I going to be able to find it? Got it? I wanted to show you that crazy one that didn't repeat a whole lot of things. Sorry for the delay. Oh, goodness. I don't see it right now. You remember which one? Oh, here it is. Because I have it hidden. Okay. This kind of rhythm, we repeated color, so there's some unity to it. But because they've changed it so much, it's kind of like what you were playing at the beginning of the class. There's all these different beats, okay? So it communicates a more complicated kind of feeling, confusing, etc. Where if you have something that's, regular and repeated, it communicates a little bit more order. Okay, so and we're going to talk about some different rhythms, okay? And we're going to talk about six types of rhythm. Okay, one is going to be random rhythm. Whoops, can't spell. Random rhythm. I guess you don't have to write rhythm every time, just write random. Let's leave that out. Random. Okay, and that just means no apparent order. Okay, so is this random rhythm? No, it's order. What about here? That's random. The stars are random. The circles are random. So it creates a different kind of feeling depending on how it's being used. What about this one? That's. They are kissing each other.
Well, that one's just not school appropriate.
Okay. Kissing is not inappropriate.
No, and then that one's kissing that one's kid.
All right, let's stop there. Okay. That would not be school appropriate.
Yes.
Okay, so another kind of rhythm is regular rhythm. And that's when you have identical, and I'm going to introduce a new word here you may or may not know, motifs and equal space around them. So, picture here, random is just wherever. Huh?
Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yes. Close enough? Okay. So here's random. Here's regular. Okay. And, you know, I think you can tell, I don't think I need to tell you what the difference in the feeling here. This is much more formal, stable. This is more lively, right? And energetic. All right. Good word. Thank you. Alternating. These are things you've probably studied in math. Bless you. And that means a change in the placement of a motif or alternating two or more motifs. Oh, and I forgot to tell you what motif means. A motif is just a unit. I'll just put it down here separately. A motif is a unit that is repeated. So it can be abstract, it can be realistic. If you make multiple pictures of me over and over again, I would be the motif. Here, what are we using for motifs? What are we using for motifs? What are we using for motifs?
Lines.
Thank you. All right, now we're going to alternate two or more motifs. So I go line, circle, 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 line. Okay? That's alternating. And then some of these actually can be patterns. And patterns we're gonna separate Now I wish I hadn't done it this way. I keep changing how to do this. We're going to talk about a decorative pattern. When we refer to a decorative pattern, it's a regular or alternating, oopsie, that says regular or alternating pattern used to decorate. I'm going to use a different language. To enhance the beauty of something. They work. So lots of times decorative patterns will be used around the edges of things. So if you do a border here, for example, you might put a decorative pattern in here. Anybody wearing a decorative pattern today? You are where?
No,
You're kidding.
Michael
I have a pattern, obviously.
she's kind of wearing a decorative shirt.
It's decorative, but that's not what I'm thinking of in terms. Yeah. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Not bad. Okay, if we look on, let's see. I think there's some in your book.
Oh, what about the page 2 too?
Go to.
Yeah, there's like a.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is kind of a decorative pattern. The main purpose is to embellish. Here's one here in the background. And then there's one, this one, yep, 207. This is a called a shot. It's by the Asante people from Ghana. This is typical of their. And then on this one as well, this has a decorative pattern. So the purpose is to decorate. This is a decorative pattern of water. This is not what water looks like, right? But it symbolizes. Okay? Then the next one is flowing.
Can you switch the paper over?
Flowing?
What, you want to see?
Yeah, they want to see.
Oh, golly. All right. Next one is flowing. And that's when you repeat wavy lines. Or curving lines. Somebody have hiccups?
Michael, did you see Michelle? Go, Michelle.
Okay, whoops. I put my example here. That could have gone down here. Do over. Do over. Right here. Okay, I'll do over. And then the last one we're going to talk about is progressive. And progressive is a change in the motif each time the motif is repeated. This happens a lot of times with like a rainbow color thing. So if you go from yellow to orange to red to violet to blue to green, that would be a change in the motif. All right. Another example is line. If I start here and go from short, bigger, 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 bigger. Okay, that's a progressive pattern. It progressively changes each time it goes. So that moves your eyes. So remember, oh, I didn't finish this. I'm sorry. I didn't write this all down. So we're going to back up a little bit. Has everyone got progressive? And this is going to kind of everybody get the bottom part? Because I'm going to change up to the, I left out, I said it, but I didn't write it down, I realize. Everybody got that? Okay, well, what does rhythm do? You want to add moves your eye around the composition. Add that right now. Have you added this? All right. So let's look at this one. It has what kind of what kind of rhythm do we have here? There is rhythm. It's called a random rhythm. All right. And what's repeated? Because what's repeated? What element? Color. So we got blue, 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 blue. Okay, we have red, 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 red. And so it does two. It does both things. It creates unity because the color's repeated. It also moves your eye around the composition. Okay, we're going to talk about that. But that's what helps you see what you're looking at and understand what it's saying. The